Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, Epic Finance. It's so good to be back with all of you. This week's video, we're going to be covering the rest of the Google Sheets that I use to keep track of my portfolio and, all the nitty-gritty details that goes into what I see there. So, yeah, without further ado, let's jump right in and I'll see you inside.
Alright, so welcome back inside to my portfolio here. And this page that we're going to be starting off with is called the Dividend Tracker. This is where you will plug in all the information for the dividends that each stock pays out per share. So the annual income trackers on the overview page can plug in this information all together and let you know how much you are earning. So as you can see to the left here, it is showing the stocks, so their ticker and actually the full company name. So I find that kind of cool. In case you are wondering, if you ever forget which ticker is which company, you can always pop over here and take a look. Also how many shares you own, and then the value, your total value of each stock, the price, so the average price you bought it at, the dividends per stock, and for the most part, the next column, the dividend reported, is going to match the dividends per stock. Every so often it will be different because sometimes they do pay a little bit more as kind of like a bonus for like a month type of thing. And then the next column over shows the yield, so basically how much I'm earning off of the amount I put in. So for example here with B&G Foods, I have a 2.76% yield on the $52 that I have invested in that company. And then next to it will be the payment period, so that'll be quarterly or monthly. And if you're looking here, most of mine are quarterly stocks, just because usually they do pay better than the monthly ones. But I do want to get into a lot more monthly ones as well, because it's always good to get paid every month by a company. And then the percent wanted, that basically has to do with this little box that says 0.50% up in the corner. And I'll have to ask Gradual Financial Freedom a bit more about that, because I still don't quite understand that. So I do know with that 50% criteria, it is saying that I should buy all of my stocks, but I'll need to, like I said, inquire more with him about how that actually works. And then the last three columns here is basically when you're going to be getting paid. So the ex-dividend date there, that auto generates. It'll tell you when the next cutoff is coming for buying into the stock to earn the dividends. And then you got the last ex-dividend date reported. Usually it's going to match that ex-dividend date off to the left. So if it's in red, it means you've missed it. If you bought that stock again, you'll have to wait till next time. If it's green, it means you're still good. If you buy into it before that date, you will earn the dividend. And then if it's yellow, it means it's the basically the day of. So the payment date next off to the right, that is when you're actually going to get paid that dividend. And then the last payment date reported, kind of same thing. If it's yellow, it means, I think in this case, if it's yellow, it means it hasn't come up yet, but it's been locked in. So you're now just waiting to get paid. So that is the dividend tracker page. That's the main beef of it. I mean, off to the far left here, you'll see the annual income meter again, and then the little graph showing how much I have invested in each company. So moving on, these next two pages that we'll be covering are pretty simple. They kind of go hand in hand with this to help track some of the information on that main overview page. So let's pop on over to the next one. It's our dividend schedule. Here is where you will put in all of basically their payment schedules. So as you can see with BGS, they paid January, April, July, and October. And then GEO February, May, August, and November, and so forth with all of my stocks. Now, you really just, you could put anything in there, I think, and it'll work. I just put X's to track it. And then off to the left here is how much each stock is paying you each payment cycle. So BGS pays me $1.44. GEO pays me 96 cents, AT&T $1.04, GNC $1.12, and down the line. And then all of this information will plug into that main overview page to generate those numbers for the yearly, and then that breakdown chart as well on the main overview page. And then the next one is your income tracker. This is where you'll plug in the income that you are earning from each stock. You'll total it up for the month. So as you can see, for December, I've earned a total of $8.21 there. And then the total dividend payout, that is what your account has earned for the entirety of its life. And then it'll kind of show you your growth rate, so how much you've grown month to month. And I think some of these he said will be changing. He just hasn't quite updated mine yet. So yeah, that is this page. And then over here you can kind of see the graph. See, here's the graph that you see on the main overview page. So this data will plug in there, and then it kind of breaks down, dividend payout. And let's find the other one here. I think that's it, actually. Yeah, that's it. Okay. I thought there was another one. My bad. So that is kind of the main dividend tracking pages that will plug in the information to the overview page. So you really only visit these pages once a month sometimes, if that. This one for sure once a month. The other ones really only if things are changing, like the next X dividend date is coming up, or you've bought a new stock, so you have to add that in to the list. Alright, so this page here, this is where you will be, is where you can, I should say. Alright, so this page here is where you can compare stocks you are looking at buying. And there's a huge spot down here for just creating a big old list to compare it. I have it kind of broken up into payment cycles, so these are all my January paying dividend stocks that I can afford. This group here is my February paying dividend stocks, and then March paying dividend stocks, and then monthly paying dividend stocks. And then scrolling all the way back up here, this is where you can kind of compare select stocks if you don't want to have to look at that big list that you are looking at possibly buying. And I gotta update it. And then off to the side here, this is the different sectors. There is a separate page just for it, but this is just kind of a little helpful graph of what number you need to plug in over here to show what sector it is for the stock that you are watching. And then this box over here is stocks that you own, and it allows you to compare them to see if you maybe want to invest more into a current stock. So pretty cool. I do visit this page quite a bit because, you know, I'm always looking for the next best stock to buy. But that is the dividend comparer page. So let's move on. So this is the sector tracker page. This is where you'll come to plug in what sector your stock belongs to over here in the blue line. And then that'll fill in the graph that will appear on the overview page of your portfolio diversity for your sectors. And then down here, he does have kind of examples of different stocks per sector. And I believe he has it set up where it's basically like good stock, bad, mediocre stock, poor stock type of thing, and gives you examples of all the different ranges. But that is the sector tracker. This helps you kind of make sure that you're diversifying your portfolio sufficiently. And then the next page we will be covering is going to be a helpful one for you to kind of fool around with and try to plan how much you want to invest so you can track your retirement off your dividends. So let's pop on over there. All right, so here we are. This is where... All right, so here we are. This is where we will be tracking, basically retiring off of our dividends. So I have it set up here where it's monthly. So every month I do deposit about $100 into my account. That is how much I can afford. But it'll also show the, the dividend yield you're earning and your portfolio total. But if we look down here, as you can see, it's month to month, and it'll tell you roughly, these are estimates, this isn't exact, how much you'll be bringing in each month based off of if I was just to continue with $100 per month deposited into my portfolio. And as you can see, it's going to take me a while. I am basically set up to retire comfortably at about my 66th year, roughly. Because the green is really what you're aiming for. And that, I could retire off of that and live comfortably and still have enough to invest, things like that. So, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to get where I can deposit more into it to try to lower that, but again, it's there to help you try to plan your retirement. And the last two pages I'm going to be showing you coming up is kind of to help you just organize stocks. It's kind of like a free list of stocks because he did do a lot of research finding these stocks. So let's hop on over to the next one. So this is kind of stocks by sectors. It organizes it all into stocks by sectors. And I guess you could use this over the dividend comparer if you wanted. I kind of take from here and then plug in what I can afford on the dividend comparer sheet. But yeah, it breaks it down into sectors. So we've got healthcare up top, utilities, consumer staples, technology, financial, consumer discretionary, basic materials, real estate, communications, industrial, and then energy. So all your major sectors. It just basically is a list of 300 plus stocks that him and me kind of compiled, because we kind of work together to get all those stocks compiled on these lists. So super helpful when you're trying to just compile a list of stocks that you're looking at wanting to buy. And then the last sheet that we're going to go to, let me pop on over there. So this one isn't quite working here. As you can see, it's having a little trouble loading. But basically what this is this shows those stocks that he gave as examples on the sector page. And it would tell you basically if you invested in, every single one of these stocks, how much you'd be up, how much you'd be down, things like that. So it's just kind of another, data page, but, still helpful nonetheless. But yeah, that is the Google Sheet to help track your portfolio here. I'll have to talk with him on how he plans to maybe want to disperse this, and I'll get you more info when I get that.
So that is the end of the Google Sheets document that I use to track my portfolio. Thanks for sticking around through all of that, and if you like what you've been seeing so far, hit that like and subscribe button. That'll help keep you notified when I post more videos up on YouTube, and keep you informed about all things financial. So I just want to kind of give you an intro of what you can expect coming up here. So basically, I've decided to kind of get back to the basics of stock investing. This past week I was talking with some younger people, and I was giving them advice about investing and saving and starting early, and one of them asked me, what is investing? How do you buy in the stock market? How do you, trade, sell? How do you buy a stock, basically, and things like that. So I decided I was going to start making a little video series, starting with the very basic, answering some of those basic questions, and then slowly moving forward and getting into some of the more detailed, nitty-gritty information about that. So got a lot of studying to do to prepare for that, but I am super excited to be covering that for all of you who may be new or haven't even considered investing in the stock market. So yeah, I will see you all next time. Keep it real, have a great new year.